American Nightmare has arrived. The son of a dream looking to realize his destiny in WWE. Multiple tag team and intercontinental championship reigns during his first run here in WWE. But now that the prodigal son has returned, Cody Rhodes has reached main event status.
The following is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 220 pounds, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes!
Gentlemen, WrestleMania has just become undeniable. After 6 years away from WWE, made a show-stealing return and defeated Seth freaking Rollins.
It was a heck of a debut, but Rhodes has his sights set on the main event of the Showcase of the Immortals. There is no reason.
こんにちは、皆さん。I'm Great Oka United Empire。今日は試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるんですよ。みんな、ブローケンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
Yeah, hear the battle cry under the devil's sky. The one-winged angel screams. It fuels my hopes and dreams. The best ever shine.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our reigning, defending Broken Predictions champion, King Rome. How you doing tonight, sir?
Feel great, Jeff. Jeff, you see, the thing is, on October 2nd, 2019, a revolution began. And here we are, 200 episodes later.
200 episodes, man.
And what a show. This show, I would say it is like the clearest and easiest representation I can give of like why I love this company and why I love AEW and why AEW saved pro wrestling and why it's the best wrestling promotion in the world.
This was a really, really good episode of Dynamite. I was on the edge of my seat from beginning to end here. I will absolutely admit I was crying at the finish of this. To be honest with you, like I've been there with you for Hangman winning his championship. I've been there with you for CM Punk winning his championship. This got me more than either of those, dude. I was like legitimately like tears. This was a absolutely fantastic episode.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, again, it's just, I mean, I kind of already said it, but it's just, like, we're going to get through it all, but, like, this episode of Dynamite is just a clear representation of what this company is capable of, what it does, what it believes in, what it brings to the table that is the wrestling industry. And people can argue it, people can say it, it's not true. This company saved profession. They just did. I mean, again, you can make arguments in bad faith or just incorrect opinions. It's fine, but and yes, I realize I just said incorrect opinions. that, and I meant to say that, um, because sometimes they're just that. But no, this was an excellent episode of AEW Dynamite. For episode 200,
Yeah, absolutely.
also hit me in the feels.
All right, before we get into the review, anything of note happen recently?
I
I don't
mean,
know.
well, there was that one thing. Oh wait, you're not talking about Vince McMahon getting in? No. Oh, okay.
No, not that, not that.
Well, the Elite re-signed, signed multi-year deals, each and every one of them, including
That's the
Hangman.
one. That's the one.
Yeah, the news came out today. Really to the shock of no one with a brand. I mean, um, I don't know. It was definitely always a given for me. I feel like they were just kind of waiting for Dynamite 200, which the timing is definitely smart. It was definitely the right way to go about it. But the news broke this morning around 9 a.m. Yeah, I mean, it's just great. Just reading all of the Elite's comments on it and what they're doing. And, it's just like, it's corny to say, and they said it themselves, but they are the E in AEW. Like, they
Absolutely.
are the soul, the heart, the soul, all of that stuff
And
in AEW.
it's a little refreshing for me that they're saying like the Elite re-signed and they're talking about all four of them, like including Hangman. And I know he's part of it, but for a long time it was just kind of like, for me it was the Elite and Hangman, and like the Dark Order and Hangman. But no, he is a legit part of the Elite. Like they've definitely solidified that here in my mind, essentially.
I mean, yeah, it's the
Yeah.
Elite.
All right. Well, like you said, episode number 200 of AEW Dynamite. I can't believe it's been 200 Wednesdays already. That's wild, man. October
Yeah, I mean,
2nd, 2019. Yeah, I remember the day well. Moxley putting Kenny Omega through that glass, what would you call that? Coffee table?
it was a table. Yeah, I mean, it's just looking back on the year or the years, sorry.
Yeah.
And just to see where they've come, the company as a whole, and just again, the quality that they put out consistently, like what the company is meant to represent, like it is encompassed in the entire show tonight. Like
Yeah.
it is like, this is what AEW is. If you had to show someone like a collapsed wrestling fan, someone who doesn't watch anymore for whatever reason, and like, hey, like, what is AEW? You put on this episode of Dynamite. This is a quintessential episode of Dynamite. And like, I'm not just saying that because it pays homage to the past, which it absolutely does. Amazing. But like the DNA of AEW, I mean, it's silly to say because it's like, oh, well, it's an AEW show, so it should have the DNA. Sometimes the shows don't always feel as, like what you would describe AEW as, because they do different little things.
Yeah, absolutely.
But tonight was perfect,
Absolutely.
and it really hit every point that they needed to hit.
Let's say what's up to everybody in chat real quick. We got the Day Trading Doge in there. We got Michael Duke. We got Mike Kling. We got Coach Nick. What's up, Coach? We got the Coog. Thank you guys all for joining us here tonight. Mike Kling had an interesting question there when we were doing the intro. So Kenny Omega re-signed, the Elite re-signed. Were you in any doubt that they were re-signing with AEW?
No. I mean, me personally, I didn't really ever doubt it. Again, I've been in the camp that Punk and the Elite are cool. I mean, I didn't think there was any issues there, and like, look, I don't want to make this about Cody, because it's not about Cody. Fuck Cody. I hope that guy is over there for the rest of his life and whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Stuck in the mid card.
I couldn't care less about Cody Rhodes. But like, the Elite are the heart, the soul of the company, and like what they've gone through. Like, they look at AEW and this is something that they helped create, that they feel proud of.
Yep.
That they want to see, live long after they're done. Hangman said today, he said, I want to retire here. I want to be in AEW for the rest of my career. And I think that the Bucks and
I like that.
Kenny feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
They are the main characters of AEW.
Yep.
Like, I mean, that's just what it is.
I like it. You know what I mean? It's yeah, absolutely. Now, a lot of people were expecting the Bucks to re-sign, but Kenny seemed to be specifically one of the ones that people had an idea. Oh, he's going to the Fed. I had no doubt he was staying with the Bucks. You know what I mean? So, did you have any slight doubts on Kenny or?
No, not at
No?
all.
Yeah, me neither.
I had literally zero doubts. I'm sure that they negotiated to get the best deal for them, as they should. You know, and contracts are contracts. There's a game that's played there, so I'm sure like it's feasible at some point. Maybe Kenny and the Bucks made it plausible, or at least thought about the possibility. But I don't think there was ever like a real shot.
No, me neither. David asks, do you think Jade Cargill is going to re-sign with AEW or go to the Fed?
No, she will not. She won't go to WWE. She made it really clear. She
Yeah.
made it. That was why she chose AEW. Made
Yeah.
it clear that WWE was not made for her. It was not. It's she's a mom. She wants to
Yeah.
spend time with her
They said
daughter.
some really creepy shit to her, basically. She's like, well, what about my family? And they were like, we're your family now. And she was like, whoa, dude.
I mean, look, man, and I do think that there is some reasoning and rationale to the elite and their comments today, I think. Not that I don't think that they're not true. I do think that everything the elite said today was true, but the fact that they went as far as to like go to SI, like make a whole news piece, and Nick and Matt are like, hey, we have family. We want to like home with our family. We can still do the whole pro wrestling thing at a high level and on a big stage and still be with our families. Whereas the other
Yeah.
company, that's just not the way it works.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that part of me wonders if that was an intentional, like low key, like trying to be enticing to free agent future, because that new TV deal is coming and Tony's going to have money to play with.
Nice. I'm seeing stuff on Twitter here saying basically the entire crowd is staying for Rampage. If you've never been to a Dynamite, usually like 10% of the crowd starts to get up and leave after Dynamite, but they're saying everyone's staying. Must be something good. I don't want to see anything, but yeah, it must be something good.
I mean, I just think it's that great of a show, period. I wonder if they're going to show the parking lot fight for the live crowd. I don't know.
Oh, that's
That'd
right.
be
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Oh, I gotta show you. Oh, I'll put it up later, actually. So let's go ahead and get started with the recap and review here of AEW Dynamite number 200 from Tampa, Florida. We started off the show with Chris Jericho, the Ocho, and Takeshita, with Don Callis in their corner versus Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia. Dude, this match was way better than I thought it was going to be. I don't know why I didn't expect it to be great, but I thought it was just going to be a mediocre match, but here we are with an absolute freaking awesome match, man. I thought this was a great tag team match here. Garcia calling out Takeshita was a really cool spot for me. I actually really liked how he wanted Takeshita, but then Takeshita came in and absolutely murdered him. We got a good hot tag to Sammy Guevara. Takeshita was using the walls of Jericho, but he was calling it the walls of Takeshita. That was interesting. What'd you think of that?
I mean, I thought it was cool. They're Don and Takeshita are trying to integrate Chris Jericho into their family.
And I don't know if Jericho signed off on that. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's a very interesting position that Jericho finds himself in. But I will say this about this match. So, like I said at the top of the show, I feel like this tonight kind of perfectly encompasses really what makes AEW AEW in terms of the whole show. And something that really stood out to me in this match in that regards is Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara. Takeshita as well, but like I'm going to focus more so on Garcia and Guevara here. Those guys were so over. Um, just, obviously Garcia and his dance being over, and Sammy Guevara being on the receiving end of a hot tag, and that pop that he got for that hot tag was just
Yeah,
like,
the boos are gone for Sammy. The boos are over.
well, I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you. I was like, hey man, look, this dude works so hard and busts his ass, and like, yeah, there was a rough patch for him where he was just not very likable, but like at the end of the day, you gotta respect the heart. The guy's got heart, and that's
Yeah. So
it's admirable.
Coach said to check Discord. So the entire AEW roster came out on the stage after Dynamite to thank Tony and celebrate the episode. That's why
Oh, that's
everybody
cool.
is staying. That's sick. That's a really cool. I'd watch the video on here, Coach, but I don't want to get taken down. So,
Yeah, I'll probably watch it later, probably in
Coach,
the morning.
you
Right?
can link it in chat since you're a mod. You should be able to link that into chat here. Throw it in chat. So yeah, this match was freaking awesome. We got Daniel Garcia locking in the Dragon Slayer to Chris Jericho, and Don Callis takes Floyd the Bat and absolutely annihilates Danny Garcia. Jericho saw it. He saw the whole thing, and they tried to bleep it, but whoever presses the button missed it by that much, just a little bit. And Jericho screamed, "What the fuck?" um, and he eventually does pin Daniel Garcia and picks up the 1, 2, 3. And, Garcia is extremely disappointed when he wakes up, and Sammy's disappointed. Both of them are looking at Jericho like, really, dude? Really? That's how you take your win? And, it was an interesting finish. And actually, I really liked the finish here because Jericho was very, very torn on whether he was okay with what happened. What'd you think of this?
I was a little surprised, admittedly. But I think it's definitely a really interesting story and interesting angle that they're going with here. Obviously, Jericho was faced with that decision and clearly conflicted about it. He doesn't approve and he doesn't agree with it. But I mean, Chris Jericho, his AEW run at least, has been all about the do whatever it takes to win and get yourself to the top of the mountain. I mean, that's literally been his thing, whether it's been forming the inner circle or JAS or whatever he's done, baseball bats, etc., etc., etc. Um, so I really thought, and I also thought that it was great that Don used Jericho's bat because it kind of goes along with that. So now Jericho's kind of faced with a choice here that he's it goes against everything that he's done. He's like, do I not take this pin? And you know what? He goes for the pin. He wins the match. Um, Clearly not happy about it following the match either. So I thought it was excellent storytelling, really well done, and spotlight really felt on Guevara and Garcia,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's awesome.
Loved it. All right. Next up, we had, surprising me, Tony Khan on our television screen, rare occasion, with a little bit of a video package talking about the 200th episode of Dynamite. And they ran a really nice video package recapping basically from episode 1 till episode 199 there. It was really nice. I liked it.
Yeah, this video package again just kind of not to just be a broken record, but it's like it's the best wrestling promotion in the at least in the country, at least in North America, I think in the world. I mean, look, like we could look back on the last, 4 or 5 years or whatever, and it's like, oh well, like, AEW's 2022 had issues. And for them it was just like it was a decent year. And we could even go as far as to compliment the Fed and say, you know what, maybe WWE's 2022 was decent. Was good even by my state, somebody's. Um, but that doesn't mean that they're not the best wrestling promotion in the world. And just watching this video package, like while I'm watching it, it's like, yeah, man, what a fucking ride! It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next up, we had Renee Paquette trying to catch up with Chris Jericho backstage, in a hallway somewhere. And before she can even ask him any questions, Daddy Magic shows up and says that he has called a meeting for all the members of the Jericho Appreciation Society, and Jericho will be there. And Daddy Magic walks off, and Jericho stays silent, seems very torn on what just happened out there in the ring.
Yeah, we'll have to see where this story goes next week.
Yeah, I actually really like this. I think it's going towards Jericho turning into a face. I think he's going to eventually turn against Don Callis, and have a nice match with Takeshita or something like that, but we'll see.
I think so as well.
Yeah. All right, next up was the FTW champion, Jack Perry, with Tony Schiavone in the ring. And I think, remember how we were talking about we need to hear this a couple of times with Jack Perry's new music to see whether we were, really in on it or whether we liked it or not. This time here really solidified it for me that I do not think this music works for Jack Perry. After his stuff on social media of like riding in that lowrider bicycle, being in California and like being in Hawaii, the music just doesn't make sense to the character he's trying to portray right now. Do you agree with that?
I do. I really do. And I said it, week one when he kind of, unveiled that music. Look, like he's going for this character that, I mean, it's not an official name, but I've been calling him Hollywood Jack Perry.
Yeah.
Look, like you were saying in the Discord, he needs to come out to like some rap music. I'm not even saying that. I think like if you want to do like a really like sick guitar riff.
Yeah, I mean, even Motley Crue, something like Motley Crue would be cool.
I would come out to some, I mean, so I think some hard rock would really fit, something like that. But I mean, I don't know. It's just the music isn't fitting the character. He's not like he's a cool bad guy. He's not like a sophisticated bad guy. He's a cool bad guy. He's coming out in leather jackets everywhere.
Like my first thoughts were the song California. California knows how to party.
No, I don't think that would be good. I don't think that would be a good fit for the heel character. Again, I don't know exactly what I would use specifically, but I definitely would not be using classical music. I just don't think it works for this character. And that's not to say anything bad about Jack Perry, because I think Jack's doing a phenomenal job in his character. It's just that music is not matching everything else that he's putting out there.
And it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's not ruining anything for me. I just it was just a thought I had. I was like, okay, I finally don't, I don't like the music. I definitely don't.
Right.
But so he gets on the mic and he basically calls out Jerry Lynn and says, come on, I gave you a week. Get out here and take this ass whooping. And Jerry Lynn comes out to the ramp and says, listen, I got 9 screws and plates in my neck. There's no doctor in the world that would clear me. He's like, but a friend of mine called and said that he would love to come. And, he's a current wrestler. And who shows up but Rob Van Dam. Dude, I was flipping my shit here. He comes out to Pantera's Walk, which, oh my God, one of my all-time favorite songs, favorite bands of all time.
So here's a little bit of trivia for you, and it's just why I love Tony Khan, and it's why he gets it. So obviously Tony paid for this music. He paid for Pantera. This was Rob Van Dam's original music.
Oh, dude. One of my favorite songs of all time, bro. This like changed my life as a kid.
Yeah. So, and then you have Tony Khan tweeting afterwards. He's like, it's like the 27th anniversary of RVD and Sabu's stretcher match in ECW. I was there when I was 13 with my dad. And I'm just like, it's like, you get it. Like, you just get it. Like, you're not some corporate shill from Connecticut who, fuck the boss's daughter to get everything that you have, which, like, be real, like, that's what happened. Yeah. No, like you're that guy where you just understand this, and like you don't always get it right, but the passion that you bring to it is so infectious. It feels just so authentic, genuine.
Yeah.
That like, man, I'm getting a little choked up right.
All right.
I got
Ryan says he's gonna be at Collision this Saturday. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Congratulations on that. I freaking love going to Collision.
So Rob comes out, and Jack, of course, takes the low road, tries to get out of there, jumps over the barricade, sits down with these fans. They clearly were not plants. They were not prepared for. Little girl's like freaking out. The girl next to her, him, is like, what's going on here? And Jack grabs a child. Jack grabs the child and uses the child as a shield to stop Rob Van Dam from coming towards him. And I was just like, that's a home run. That's a home run heel move right there. Like, you're not just like flipping off kids, like you are putting a child in.
Yeah, and
Kayfabe, of
I
course.
forgot to mention this episode of Dynamite. We got the tunnels back, man. We got the old school tunnels and the colors. The rainbow
sure.
color scheme was back, man. Loved it.
So again, like this also encompasses another thing that I love about AEW, because again, I just thought this show really brought all these things together where like it just paid homage to things that came before. And obviously ECW, very important to being here from Philadelphia. Sense of pride to that company, promotion. So just to see Tony Khan clearly have such a love for ECW. This is the title, the FTW Championship, a title that was made in ECW, by Taz. Bring in Jerry Lynn, former ECW World Champion. He's obviously been there since the start, but that's, And then obviously you're bringing in Rob Van Dam. You give him his original ECW music, and it's just like, come on, man, this is great. He just gets it, and he pays such homage and shows such care to the past of wrestling, but also uses it in a way that you could convey it to the future, a la Jack Perry being a part of it. Great.
Yeah,
excellent.
Absolutely. So I lost my mind here. Rob Van Dam's always been one of my favorites. Can't wait to see how this turns out with Rob Van Dam and Jack Perry. But we do get a little bit more later on in the show. We'll get to that part. Next up, we had really nice video package, some promos from Hikaru Shida and Tony Storm for the match later on in the night. Very nice video package. And next up was the three-way dance between Trent Beretta, Jon Moxley, and Penta El Zero M. My God, dude. This match was fucking brutal and incredible and every other adjective that I could possibly think up to throw out there. Like, my God.
And then again, just because I'm going to tie into the theme of the show, like this was another match that really this is what AEW is about. It was, you got 3 AEW originals, 3 day one AEW guys. Yeah. 3 day one AEW guys just going out there and just killing it. And like this Extreme Rules match, or whatever you want to call it, the hardcore match, street fight, and just like you said, it was brutal, but it was epic and it was incredible, and the story that was told in the ring was just awesome. And I'm super happy for my guy Trent, because that was a staple win in the guy's career in AEW. And it's just,
I'm literally just liking every single Hikaru Shida post I find right now in my timeline.
And I just thought that, like, putting Trent, if you look at this match, I guarantee you the average fan is probably just like, oh, this is clearly like a Mox or Penta pin Trent moment. But to give Trent that moment, and they start with the memory. This is, by the way, something they did throughout the entire show, which was really well done, is showing snippets of the first 200 episodes of Dynamite that correlate with that wrestling. And I thought that was just so cool. And so to show the parking lot brawl, I wrote it in my notes. It's like, oh man, I really love that. Like, that parking lot brawl is like a top 5 AEW match.
Oh yeah.
It's just so good. And I'm like, man, like I'm reminiscing while they're having this brutal match. You got Trent superplexing Mox through 2 tables outside of the ring. Insane.
That spot was nuts, dude.
Yeah. That's the type of spot that usually they fake out on, where they're like, oh man, is he going to be able to do it? And then like Mox like punches him and rolls off the turnbuckle, and like, oh, I guess they're not going to do it.
Well, it was like Penta set it up first for Trent, and then they did fake us out, and Trent, rolled off. Moxley stopped Penta. And then Trent was like, all right, Mox, fuck it, you're going. And then Mox goes through. I was like, holy shit.
But everybody gets their spot, though, because Penta hits the Destroyer off the top rope through the table on Trent. Mox brings out the tax, continuously slams Penta and Trent into the tax. But at the end of the day, Trent Beretta picks up the fucking win.
I was shocked, dude.
I popped so hard. Obviously, I'm a huge Best Friends fan. I've been a day one Best Friends fan, day one of AEW. Even before Orange Cassidy was really like my guy. I was just like, man, Trent and Chuck, like these guys are just so dope. They're such a great tag team. Like I love the gimmick and like I'm hopeful that we see them win tag team gold before their run is up in AEW. I think that is like one of the biggest wrongs that AEW needs to right, because those guys have been like the soldier in the trenches since day one. Whenever you need a guy or a team or a trio, it's the Best Friends, and they're there. So, give them their flowers. But tonight was a great way to start that. But after the match, Mox attacks Trent. Claudio and Yuta come out through the crowd. You think they're about to beat down Trent. Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy jump them before they could jump Trent. And big brawl ensues. And Chuck Taylor, my God, he says, let's fly to Jacksonville and let's do a fucking parking lot fight on Rampage. And I'm just like,
I think he called him because they had to bleep something there. I'm pretty sure he said, and I challenge you pussies to a parking lot brawl. I was like, oh shit.
I was just like, damn. Like I can't. Like I was like, Rampage is must see this week. If you're not watching Rampage, I don't know. You don't actually like pro wrestling. You don't. Just admit it. Just say you like sports entertainment.
This is definitely one of the Fridays that I'm gonna be like, okay, must be home for Rampage at 10. Like must be home.
Right.
All right, yeah. So that was an incredible match. Congratulations to Trent. I actually really do agree he deserved that a lot. He's done so much good work in AEW for these 200 episodes. So good job on Tony making that call there. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Orange Cassidy does come out there with that orange punch to Moxley, and Moxley, he doesn't necessarily no sell it, but Moxley just kind of like stumbles around like he's all messed up and rolls out of the ring. You think we're getting Orange Cassidy versus Mox soon, or have they announced something that I didn't see yet?
I mean, that would be where I think they're going with it. But I'm not sure. I mean, like, you could assume that maybe they're going to do that at All In, but I really also wonder. I think they want to do Eddie versus Mox at All In, so I don't know.
Ooh, that'd be sweet.
That's my opinion. It's my theory. I mean, we'll have to see.
I'd be all over that. Hell yeah. All right. Next up, we had a recap of MJF and Adam Cole throughout the last, from their championship match against FTR. That was just a quick little recap there. And then next up was Renee Paquette with RVD backstage. He says she asks him what brought him to AEW. And RVD says he heard Jack Perry running his mouth and challenges him for the FTW championship. And I think this right here is a tremendous way to retire this belt. I think RVD said what he was going to do, and I think he just flat out told us what's going to happen. He said, I've retired multiple championships in my career. Look it up. He's like, it's happened a bunch of times. I won a belt, and then I retired it. So I would not be opposed to RVD winning this and then being like, this is going to hang on my fireplace, in kayfabe, he can say in Philly, you know what I mean? And be done with that in AEW. What do you think? I know that title's near and dear to you, but what do you think?
I just don't think Jack's gonna lose. I don't see that happening. I think that if anything, Hook's gonna win it back.
Okay.
That's what I just obviously I want to see Rob Van Dam win a match, and I think it's cool. And who knows, maybe this is gonna open up to maybe him doing a few more dates. I mean, look, like again, AW does a really good job at balancing the the legends and the the young guys. So I'd be okay with Rob Van Dam maybe getting a graphic next week. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't think he should beat Jack.
We shall see. All right, next up we had MJF, and I was expecting him to come out with Adam Cole, baby, but he did not. It was very. I was like waiting for the mashup song to start up. I was waiting for Adam Cole, but no, MJF comes down to the ring by himself, and dude, I'll be damned if MJF doesn't cut one of the fucking best babyface promos I have ever seen. Like, I don't know if you thought it was quite that good, but I was like absolutely in shock at how somebody that's so good at being a heel just flipped the switch and is that good at being a babyface. I was like blown away.
I mean, that's what it looks like when somebody has the it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a star, and I said it last week, and this promo, it's really funny because this promo really validates what I said last week about MJF, where MJF is a tragic villain story. Like this is an Anakin Skywalker type character arc. Like he's a monster. He's a terrible guy. He's done some really fucked up shit. But he has his reasons for why he is the way he is. The world made him. He talks about how he's been bullied, abused, beaten up, pushed around, cheated. He tells a story about when he was a kid, and the kids, they ran up to him with a bunch of quarters and smashed him in the face with the quarters, and then said, "Pick it up, Jew boy." And this is a story that he's told in promos for years. And I absolutely believe this is 100% a true story.
Oh yeah.
And I just think it's incredible. I like, in terms, like, we talked on Sunday about on Collision whether it was a good idea for MJF and Adam Cole to not win the titles. And they are doing an absolutely incredible job at justifying the story going in the direction that it's going. Just a lot of what MJF was talking about, and he's like, look, I'm a bad guy. I'm a scumbag, but I'm ready to be your scumbag.
Dude, that line, bro. I was like, oh, it touched me. I was like, dude, you're my scumbag, bro. I love it.
And again, he continues to make it very clear. And also, they kind of introduce an out where if they do want to break up the friendship, they can, because MJF says that he realized that for him to protect himself, for him to take care of himself, he had to become basically the same as the people that had wronged him. Which is just masterful storytelling. It is a masterclass of storytelling. That goes beyond, that transcends storytelling in pro wrestling. This is just storytelling in general. Really good stuff. And it just that's a really cool thing. He doesn't straight up say this, but I put in my notes, it's like Adam Cole was different. He didn't have to protect himself against Adam Cole. And he goes on saying, like, I won't change overnight. I'm still a scumbag, but I'm ready to be your scumbag. Yeah, he then calls out Adam Cole.
Yeah, so Adam Cole comes out and talks up MJF for a minute, says, "You surprised me, Max. You've actually changed." And MJF, I did not see this part here coming. This absolutely surprised the shit out of me here. MJF basically kind of, I don't know how to say it here, but he tells Adam Cole, "You don't deserve a match." Like, because he promised him a world title match, right? And he's like, "You don't deserve a match." And I was like, no, they're doing it now. I was like, no, they're breaking him up right here. Like, I was almost destroyed, right?
Mhm.
And he hops out of the ring and he grabs the contract booklet. Like, you know, you could kind of tell that it's that booklet that they always have a contract inside in the wrestling world. And he gets back in the ring and he says, "You don't just deserve a match. You deserve the match." And dude, that's when all of the numbers and the math and everything went in my head, and it went ding. That's our main event for Wembley fucking Stadium. Oh my God. MJF tells Adam Cole, "You and I, Wembley, 80,000 people, main event. That's what you deserve, Adam Cole." And dude, is that not just the biggest middle finger to Vince McMahon right there? Or whoever was going to be making him into a fucking manager with his haircut?
It's a big middle finger to anyone. It's like when Adam Cole left WWE to go to AEW. People said he left WWE for this. Yes, he left WWE to be a part of literally the biggest wrestling show that counts in the world ever.
To go main event the biggest wrestling show in history ever.
Correct. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes. Yes. To main event the biggest wrestling show in the history of the sport. Okay, like that's what it's all about, and I love that we're not going into it with a blood feud. You know, I mean, people think if you think back to Wembley in SummerSlam '93, and I'm sure Coog remembers, you know, that show ended with Bret Hart and the British Bulldog sharing a hug after their match, and I could see that All In ending in the same way. And you know, it occurs to me that
Ooh, that'd be good.
based off what All In is supposed to be, like All In does not need to be a show where this doesn't need to be a blood feud. This could just be a match where like these and that's what it is. These two best friends are gonna go out there and tear the fucking, and that is what the objective is for the sake of All In, for the sake of the company, for the sake of the show. And I just think that it was, and you know, mind you, at the same time, there is some tense storytelling going on where it's like, will one of them turn on each other before then? Will someone turn on each other then? Like, is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? And it elevates the weight. It elevates the weight of these segments where it's just like, I don't want to say it's like pins and needles, but it's just like, is it gonna happen now? Like, was MJF going to turn on Adam Cole there? Like, no, he didn't. He offered him the contract.
Mhm.
And I just thought it was awesome. Cuts to the back, and Roderick Strong, who at this point I'm starting to actually, admittedly, getting a little sick of this guy, the way he's acting. He is destroying equipment in the back.
Dude, I was loving it. I was like, yes, Roddy's so pissed.
Well, like, I don't like legit hate it, but it's just like in a kayfabe sense, I'm like, I understand that like you don't like MJF and you don't trust MJF, but it seems like Adam Cole has kind of figured out MJF, and even if he hasn't, like, I don't know, this is not the way I would be as a friend. I would try to be just like back them up, you know. And then so the Kingdom show up and they offer their sympathy, saying Adam Cole forgets his friends. This is a throwback to Ring of Honor. Fuck, the Marlins Philly. This is a throwback to Ring of Honor when Adam Cole was part of the Kingdom.
So this Roddy reminds me of like something from like a scary movie, you know, where there's like this dude who's pretending he's still everyone's friend, and in secret he's like freaking out and smashing stuff because other people are being friends.
Yep.
It's kind of, I'm loving where they're going with that, but so when Adam Cole signed the contract with MJF, he just opens it up and immediately signs it. And even the crowd, I was yelling it, the crowd was yelling it. They were saying, read it, read it, read it. Do you think we're going to get any sort of stipulation or something weird in that contract?
I thought about it. I mean, we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Next up, we had the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Team TNA, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh. 1 in a billion. I actually really enjoyed this match. You know, obviously with the Elite, it's hard for them to have a bad match. And I thought this was great. You know, Jeff Jarrett plays his part really well, being the, you know, the veteran stooge who takes a lot of the punishment in the match. I had a lot of fun here. What about you?
Same. I mean, I thought this was a great match, a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I mean, it was what it was, but what it was a really good time.
Absolutely. Karen Jarrett tried interfering a few times here. Brandon Cutler gets on the apron with Karen and sprays her in the face with his stuff. Sanjay Dutt smashes Brandon Cutler, and then the Hardy Boys show up to for the assist, and they take out Satnam Singh. And we had some really nice spots in this match where Matt Jackson was calling out Satnam Singh. He's like, come on, I want the big guy. I want the big guy. Tag him in. They tag in Satnam Singh, and he goes and stands face to face with Matt. Well, not really face to face, more like face to waist. Matt was barely up to his belt line. Satnam Singh is a monster individual, but had some really nice spots here with the Young Bucks trying to take him down. I'm not sure where it happened here, but there was a one-winged angel to Jay Lethal. I didn't see like how Kenny and Jay Lethal got interacted there. I must have like looked away for a second, but I look up and Kenny Omega has Jay Lethal up for the one-winged angel, hits that for the finish, and got the 1-2-3. I thought this was a great match, and you know, just Team TNA does exactly what they need to do. You know what I mean? Like they play that role of the hateable heels and they get their asses kicked. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. After the match, the Elite. Oh, wait. I forgot about Hangman showing up. So after the Hardy Boys showed up, Hangman actually shows up and winds up hitting a huge buckshot lariat onto, I believe, Jeff Jarrett with the guitar. That was a really nice spot there. Then Kenny picked the guitar up and he kind of like mocked playing it. He was like, that was pretty funny. But the Elite get the win. They cut some promos after the match, and Hangman lets everybody know that the Elite are all elite. They have re-signed their contracts, like we mentioned at the top of the show. So that was really great. Love seeing the Elite on Dynamite. Now,
And
Kenny mentioned that you're going to be seeing them on Dynamite, on Rampage, maybe even some Ring of Honor, and hell, maybe even Collision. What'd you think of that? It's happening, bro.
it's happening. I would like to thank the Academy, CM Punk, Tony Khan, the Elite. I don't know if we have enough time, right? But this is the biggest pro wrestling show of all time. And if we have a way to get that trios match on the card, we should do it. I mean, you know, I think CMFTR versus the Elite would definitely be the way to go. I would definitely book that for All In.
I have a feeling we're gonna get something of the sort. I'm thinking we get FTR versus the Bucks somehow. But we'll see, man. I'm just really hoping. We've seen the reports that the Bucks and the Elite, I guess, I think they said the entire Elite are now willing to do business, you know. So I think it's game on at this point, man.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we had an absolutely fan-freaking-tastic professional wrestling match with Aussie Open versus Vikingo and Commander. And listen,
Jeff, are you kidding me? Are you serious?
what's that?
Are you serious?
What?
Did you just skip over
Oh, I did. My bad.
the great one of like
One
a
of the
top
greatest
five-
segments of all time. Yes.
Okay, I just want to make
Jesus,
sure
thank you.
that you did that because wow. All
Yeah,
right.
here, take it away with this because I did skip it, but it is here in my notes. Take it away.
So Mogul Embassy, you got AR Fox, Swerve Strickland, and Prince Nana and they're talking, and AR Fox says, Darby, you said without me there would not be a Darby Allin. Then why didn't you call me? He's like, you were here for 5 years before you finally like hooked up with me again. Why didn't you call me when you first signed with AEW if I'm so important to you? He's like, I've given you so much, but I'm gonna take it back. And Swerve says, he's like, hey man, like look, like we may not be family yet, but you're an affiliate. We take care of our own. So I'm gonna put you in this movie that I just. He's like, let's take a look, roll it. And so the Mogul Embassy, Swerve Strickland, AR Fox, and Prince Nana show up to Nick Wayne's training facility, Buddy Wayne training facility. They go in, and Nick's working out with some wrestlers, and they just go in there and they utterly just destroy these wrestlers and Nick. They grab a picture of Nick and his dad, destroy it over Nick's head. They just bloody him to a pulp, and he is just laying there in the ring. And Nick is reaching for his phone, and Swerve and AR Fox grab the phone, and they're like, "Go ahead, call Darby, call him." And Nick hesitates, but so they hold the phone up in front of his face to get the facial recognition to unlock the phone so they can call Darby. And then they realize that they have bloodied Nick Wayne to a point where the phone cannot recognize Nick. So then AR Fox pulls a fucking knife.
No, he grabbed a piece of glass from the broken glass on the mat.
Okay, it was glass. All right,
Yeah,
I just
it
saw
was a
that
chunk of the glass on the mat.
I just saw that he was holding something sharp to him.
Yeah.
So he's holding the glass to him, and he says, "Unlock your phone." So he does it. They lay him out on the bloodied up on the mat. They call Darby. Darby thinks it's his friend Nick Wayne, and they're like, "It's not Nick." And like, what? Like, who is this? And, Swerve says, "See how easy it is to call someone? Why didn't you call him? Why didn't you call your boy?" Swerve says, "We're the ghosts of your past. Now we're gonna."
So good.
And he says, "Mogul Embassy forever." Hangs up on Darby. Meanwhile, Darby's like, "Don't hurt Nick. Don't touch him. You bastards!" Like, and Swerve chucks the phone out the window. Fucking cinema. Like, and like, I know that people, it's to the point where it's not cool to describe excellent wrestling at this point in cinema because WWE fans and have overused it to the point where it's now dumb to say.
Yeah.
But man, this is cinema. This is one of the greatest segments in the history of the company. Swerve Strickland has established himself as, behind MJF, the top heel.
Dude, Nick Wayne was literally lying in a pool of blood. Like, if you didn't see it, like,
it gives Nick Wayne that sympathy babyface stuff, and like this was incredible. This is just perfection in a wrestling segment.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Then next up was this incredible match between Aussie Open and Vikingo and Commander. And, this was an incredible match. No story needed here. There was no story involved in this at all. It was just Aussie Open versus Vikingo and Commander for the Ring of Honor tag team championships. But my God, this was just an absolute amazing display of professional wrestling and lucha tag team wrestling. Like, Aussie Open are really, really good professional wrestlers, kind of similar to FTR. And then, Commander and Vikingo are, obviously, we love these two. This match was freaking awesome. I didn't need any story with it. I just was enjoying this wrestling match from beginning to end.
Yeah, it was great. Another way, that this show encompasses what AEW is, just adding in that international flair, international flavor to make some really excellent wrestling matches with Ring of Honor in there. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. We had an awesome double rope walk. So the way that Commander always does his rope walk and then he does his moonsault in the middle, we had both of them doing it from each corner, and then they both did the moonsault in the middle. That was one of the coolest things I have ever seen. But we do have Aussie Open hitting the Coriolis effect onto Commander to pick up the 1, 2, 3. Great match. Absolutely freaking awesome. You know, if you just want to see a freaking badass tag team wrestling match, that's one to go watch right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up, we had a really nice little recap of CM Punk pulling out his real championship belt and spray painting the X across it. Enjoyed that. I'm sure you did as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But we won't spend too much time on that, because next it was time for the main event of the evening. I was really, really hoping that Tony Khan would give this the main event. I had all the confidence in the world that he was going to. We got Hikaru Shida versus Tony Storm for the AEW Women's Championship. And man, I loved every single second of this match. You could see the emotion on Shida's face the moment she came out to the big crowd. The crowd was cheering for her. She was getting Shida, Shida, the chants. I mean, it was a great emotional entrance here. These two had a fan-freaking-tastic match. The beginning of this was just, it felt very New Japan Joshi. They were just beating the shit out of each other at the beginning of this match. They looked like they were actually connecting with their punches like they do in New Japan. I loved every single moment of this. I was absolutely blown away by these ladies. Of course, the Outcasts are out here with Tony Storm, and Hikaru Shida is by herself. It's somewhat bothered me throughout the match that the Outcasts were getting involved, but nobody was coming to help Shida. But it didn't ruin anything here. It just showed that Shida was strong enough to fight through all three members of the Outcasts. We had some distraction being cast by Ruby Soho, allowing Tony Storm to spray Shida in the eyes with her green spray paint. She hits a huge DDT, but does not pick up the 1, 2, 3. She also hits the Storm Zero onto Hikaru Shida. I thought it was over right there. I actually thought they were going to count 3, because we were actually at 10 o'clock when that spot happened. And sure enough, Hikaru Shida kicks out at 2.9999. Shida hits a beautiful, beautiful roll-up and secures the 1, 2, 3 with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, that roll-up pin. And we have a new AEW Women's World Champion, Hikaru Shida. And Rome, I'm not kidding, I legitimately cried. Like, more than when Hangman won. Like, Hangman, I teared up. Punk, I teared up. I legit had like multiple tears that fell from my face. How did you feel here?
Well, obviously, Hikaru Shida is my favorite women's wrestler. So I'm extremely happy. I also got emotional. So I had originally wrote in my notes, and Coach had said something in the Discord to the effect of like, "Oh, great, more geeks, babyface women wrestlers coming out alone."
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to knock it, but the long term of it, the storytelling paid off here, where like that kick out when Shida gets screwed over. She gets spray painted, Storm Zero, and you're like, God damn it, like it happened again. She kicks out. And that right there is what we call a build, folks. Like that doesn't make up for the months of these dumb idiot babyface geeks. Not entirely. But it's a payoff where as a viewer, you're watching it and you feel justified that you've been conditioned to expect the outcome to be this because it keeps happening every single. So when Shida kicks out, I shoot out of my chair.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, she kicked out. Now it's a ball game. Unlike Trey Turner, who I would just bench the guy. They lost because of an error from Trey Turner.
Oh.
I would just bench him. I would bench him for the next week. Their next day off is the 14th, Jeff. I wouldn't have him on the field until the 15th. Anyways, not about baseball right now. The Shida, she kicks out and ends up winning this match, winning the world title, and just the most poetic justice that Shida, she carried the division through the pandemic. She never really got to have a championship reign in front of fans. And now she's going to get that. And not only is she going to get that, she's going to be defending the title.
Dude.
At Wembley in front of the biggest crowd.
Listen, Shida had said, I wanted to defend that title in front of the fans. Well, guess what? You're going to defend that title in front of the most fans ever. Like, the poetic justice that Tony Khan has written here is absolutely incredible. I didn't even think about, I believe it was Ryan that said it in chat earlier. I got to give him the credit that it's poetic. You know, she said, I wanted to defend this in front of the fans. Well, here you go. The most fans ever. That's amazing.
You know, I saw a really funny tweet. It said, Hikaru Shida was upset it sucked because Hikaru Shida defended her title against 0 fans. Well, now she's going to defend her title against 8,0,0,0,0,0 fans.
Oh, that's so good, dude. It took me a minute to start the pod. My nose was still running and I was still wiping my eyes. Been a long time since anything's made me legit cry, and that definitely accomplished the job. So great job, Tony. The Coug is asking for Shida versus Julia at All In. I mean, yeah, I'll take Julia, but I think I don't know. Maybe it'll be somebody we haven't seen before, but I think it's more likely we see it against somebody in AEW. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like no one's going to like my answer, but I think the obvious choice is Saraya.
Yeah.
But I don't think people like that option. I don't mind it, but you know.
Yeah, for her first defense, just to go out there and beat someone, I don't mind that either. You know, it's for the UK crowd. I get it. It's not a horrible choice.
I think it's, look, it may not be the most attractive or appealing choice, but I think it's.
Yeah, I'm all right with it. But that's the end of, I mean, shit, this has to be a 10 out of 10 episode, huh?
It is. It's a perfect episode of Dynamite that had so many high points, no low points. I legitimately had such a great time watching this show. It was incredible. 10 out of 10. It's one of the best Dynamites of all time. Definitely the best Dynamite of the year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great.
Let me throw this up on the old screen here. Why'd that go away? This graphic for Hikaru Shida is absolutely freaking gorgeous. The new AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida. I love this. I am absolutely hoping that this is the Monday on Shop AEW. This has to be our poster for Monday. Please Shop AEW, make this Monday's poster, please.
No, for sure.
All right. Anything you want to go over before we start to get out of here?
No.
All right. Well, what do they got running down for us on Rampage and Collision so far?
All right. Well, number one announced for All In is the main event of the show for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Maxwell Jacob Freeman defends his title against Adam Cole. The main show starts at 1 p.m. Eastern. The 0 hour starts at noon Eastern. It was also officially unveiled today that it will in fact be available via pay-per-view. Let's see. We will hear from the Acclaimed on Saturday on Collision. CM Punk will defend the Real World Championship against Ricky Starks with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as the referee. TBS Championship, Chris Statlander defending against Mercedes Martinez. The AEW World Tag Team Championship will be on the line again as FTR defends against Big Bill and Brian Cage. Announced for Rampage, we have the parking lot fight, Blackpool Combat Club versus Best Friends. We also have Anna Jay versus Sky Blue. Swerve Strickland and AR Fox will be in action. And there will be a trios match with Keith Lee and the Hardys versus Kip Sabian, the Butcher, and the Blade. Only thing announced for Dynamite next week is Jack Perry versus Rob Van Dam in an FTW rules match for the FTW champion.
Nice. All right. Well, man, I'm still trying to get over that title change. That, you know, a lot of times when I'm like, please give me what I want, you know, a lot of times it just doesn't happen, man. But tonight, Tony absolutely delivered. I could not be happier. And, you know, I was thinking about it with like 5 minutes left. I was like, if Shida loses, that's going to be 2 episodes of AEW in a row where I was like massively wanting someone to win and they didn't. But, you know, I got 50-50 here. I got my Hikaru Shida winning. I'm so happy. It's not even funny. I'm probably going to go tweet about it for the rest of the night. But absolutely fantastic episode. Congratulations to Hikaru Shida. And Rome, you want to go ahead and close us out, sir?
Absolutely. Well, this has been episode 163 of the Broken Tables podcast. Just a quick reminder to everybody, if you saw the Day Trading Doge was here a little while ago, he was using our super cool new emojis. Jeff, why don't you go ahead and hit them in the chat so people can see them?
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe to become a member. You can get access to the really cool arcade cabinet badge, as well as all of those dope emojis. The Adam Cole, Orange Cassidy, the Acclaimed, and CM Punk. Thank you, Doge, for putting it up. Man is still here. Really appreciate your support, Doge, and we appreciate everyone else's support. So please, you know, become a member, get that exclusive stuff. You know, maybe we got some exclusive content coming for members in the future too. So
if you look down in our description, actually, I have thought about doing a weekly prediction show for Dynamite and Collision. And remember, I told you it's going to be much easier in the future. And we may do a members or, members being part of that, you know, part of the weekly prediction show. So,
oh, there you go. So, again, it's just $5, you know, why not? Anyways, we really appreciate your support. Thank you to everybody. Follow us on our social medias in the description down below. And we will catch you guys maybe on Sunday, maybe on Saturday.
We shall see. But thank you guys very much for hanging out with us here tonight after one of my favorite episodes of Dynamite ever. New champion Hikaru Shida, top guys out.